All right, so today we are starting chapter 4, landforms, water, and natural resources. Okay, so the main theme of this chapter will be landforms. It'll be our main focus, what we're going to be looking at. I have a couple examples, a couple pictures that include all of the landforms in one picture, just to kind of give us a sneak peek of what we're going to be learning about, and also what our project is going to be coming up as well. So this is another photograph, okay, picture illustration of our landforms. Okay, so a little introduction. So we are going to start with our key term, geology. Okay, geology is the study of Earth's physical structures and the processes that have created them. Okay, so I want to get us started with what makes up the Earth. Okay, so first we have the core. All right, there is an inner and outer core to the Earth. Okay, so that is the innermost part of Earth. Okay, then moving towards the surface, we have the mantle. Okay, this mantle is the zone that has most of Earth's mass, including the crust. Okay, so again, you go from your core, your inner and outer core, you're moving up to your mantle, okay, which includes most of Earth's crust. Okay, and then I want to point out magma. Have we heard that term before? Mm-hmm. Yes, probably pretty familiar. This is liquid rock within the Earth. Okay, magma is liquid rock within the Earth. So just a quick visual for you guys what we're talking about, right? So we have our core, we have our inner, right, this lighter yellow inner core. Outside of that, we have our outer core, which is that more orange color, okay? Then we have our mantle, okay? That is that red, large section. And the small, looks like a rust brown color, that is the crust, okay? The outside of the Earth. Okay, so again, core, mantle, crust, how we describe the structure of Earth. So we're going to talk a little bit about plate tectonics. Does this sound familiar? Have we heard about this in our science classes yet? Plate tectonics might be a little familiar. So Earth's crust is divided into more than a dozen rigid, slow moving plates. Okay, these plates, they're moving, but very slowly. So they move less than an inch per year. Okay, so less than an inch per year, very, very slow moving plates. Okay, this movement of plate tectonics, right, is called continental drift. Okay, so this moving, even though it's less than an inch per year, we call that continental drift. Okay. Now, Pangea. Have we heard of that before? Right before all of our continents are where they are right now, they were more condensed, touching each other. Okay, so they hadn't separated to where they are now. Okay, so it's basically called a supercontinent, right? Because they're all connected, and that existed over 200 million years ago. So taking a look at this, okay, on the left side, okay, this diagram shows Pangea, Okay, do you see how the continents are touching each other? Okay, 225 million years ago. Okay, then we move on to the right. Okay, 150 million years ago. Okay, then we form into two pieces, two supercontinents, right? Laurasia, I think that says, and Gondwana. That's what they named those two continents. Okay, now we're going 100 million years ago. Is it starting to look more like how it's set up today? This picture. Yes, right? Still a little closer, but we're getting more to what Earth looks like today. Then you have today, right? Where the continents are that we know them. Okay, and like was pointed out earlier, right? South America actually fits in perfectly right into Africa today. They meshed together. So again, that is more evidence, right, that used to be together, connected at one point. So moving on, we're going to look at plate movement. So this movement of tectonic plates. The first way that these plates move, okay, they're moving apart or spreading apart. Okay, this is mainly found on ocean floors. Okay, relatively flat land. That's where we see that moving or spreading apart. Okay, so that's our first movement, first plate movement. Okay, second, plates colliding. Okay, this results in mountains and volcanoes. Okay, so if you have plates, right, colliding together, they're forming mountains and volcanoes. Okay. In our third movement, okay, plates can slip past each other. Okay, this can generate big valleys, broad valleys. Okay, and this movement also causes earthquakes. Okay, so again, you're going to want to remember, you're going to want to know, okay, the three ways plates move. Okay, the plate movement. So first, they can move or spread apart. Second, they can collide. When you think of them colliding, right, forming mountains, volcanoes. And third, they can slip past each other. Okay, that's where we have our broad valleys, but that can also cause earthquakes. Next, we're going to talk about weathering and erosion. Okay, so let's start off by defining weathering. This is the process of rocks breaking down and decaying over time. Okay, an example of this would be the Grand Canyon. Okay, that is a result of weathering, breaking down of rocks and decaying over time. Okay, second, we have erosion. Have we heard of that term before? Familiar? Yes, good. So erosion, movement of surface materials from one location to another. Okay, the movement of surface materials from one location to another. Okay, forces can be water, wind, or ice. Okay, water can move silt materials to a different location. Wind is another powerful force that's able to move. Like think about the sand dunes in deserts, right? That's the result. Okay, movement of surface materials, right? Taking the sand, bringing it to form a sand dune. Okay, and then ice too, right? Icebergs, they can move. Okay, so that would be another form of erosion that ice can cause too. They actually have said that sand from the Sahara Desert has, like from the wind, been pushed across the Atlantic Ocean and found found in other countries. Okay, so wind is a really powerful force when it comes to erosion and moving that sand or whatever it might be. Okay, but again, that can be caused by water, wind, and ice. So let's take a quick look at weathering and erosion. So weathering causes rocks to break down. Okay, as you can see, right on this hill slope mountain, okay, you see the rocks weathering away. They're breaking down off of that. Okay, erosion, using water in this case, transports and moves the sediments downhill to another place. Okay, so weathering took place. Now we have the sediment, this rock. Water then moves that to a different location, and that would be erosion. But the initial breaking down and decaying of rock from that mountain, that is weathering. Okay. So again, this diagram shows us what that difference is. Does that make sense? Perfect. Just to give us a better look, a better visual at what that looks like. All right, our last topic we're going to talk about today. So 3 ways that landforms are created, right? We saw all of those landforms from yesterday, our pre-assessment on that slideshow. Okay, that's what we're talking about when we're referencing landforms. Okay, so the first way landforms are created is by tectonic processes. Okay, so mountains and valleys are created when plates move, causing volcanoes, faulting, and folding. All right, remember we talked about tectonic movement, right? Colliding causes mountains and volcanoes. They are landforms. Okay, so those tectonic processes, right? We talked about those three movements. Okay, they cause landforms. Next, erosion, right? We just talked about weaker rock and sediment are moved away to expose harder rock hidden underneath. Okay, remember I talked about sand dunes, right? Sand is moved away from its original spot via wind, right? Creating sand dunes in a different location. So again, that moving away of weaker rock and sediment, erosion, and that helps to make landforms. Okay. And finally, sediment deposits. Okay. Sediment is carried out and deposited by ice, water, or wind. Okay. That is the third way that landforms are created. So, what's the first way? Tectonic processes. Second, erosion. And third, sediment deposits. That's exactly right. So again, 3 ways landforms are created. Okay. This would be another good thing to know. We have 3 ways that they are created.